Welcome to Juice Guru Radio. Discover what the magic and power of juicing can do for you. And now, your host, best-selling author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Juice Fasting, Steve Prusak.
Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve. It's great to be with you. And on today's show, we've got the Sprout Brothers, Noah and Ari Meyerowitz, spreading the message about juicing and sprouting, carrying on the legacy of their father, Steve Meyerowitz, the Sproutman, who we've had on the show as well. They're coming up right after this, so stay tuned on Juice Guru Radio. We'll be back right after this.
Did you know you can make a great living in the hottest new business trend today? The Juice Guru Certification Program is the world's first online course to give you the knowledge and marketing skills to excel as a juicing coach and start making money in no time. Find out more at juicecoachtraining.com.
Juice Guru Radio.
Hello, I'm Steve Prusak, and welcome back to Juice Guru Radio. We've got a great show ahead here with the Sprout Brothers. We've got Noah and Ari Meyerowitz. They're sharing with the world sproutfulness, vitality, and wellness, following in the footsteps of their legendary father, Steve Meyerowitz, a great friend of the show, the Sproutman. The brothers are working together to spread the Sproutman's powerful message while carving out a legacy of their own. Let's welcome to Juice Guru Radio right now, Noah and Ari Meyerowitz.
Thank you, Stephen. Thanks for having us. This is Noah, and we're really happy to be here to chat about our plans for the future and our father Steve's great legacy.
Sorry, I interrupted. This is Ari. I was just going to say it's always exciting to get a chance to spread his message, the message of our father.
Yeah, so let's take us back. I guess we can start with Noah. What was it like growing up with Sproutman?
So growing up with Sproutman was really special. He was a really unique character, really charismatic, and really fun to be around. He walked into the room with a great smile. He had this amazing ability to change anyone's day around. He always said, every time I see someone is an opportunity to make them smile and make their day that little bit better. So growing up with him as a character and as a person, he was just this incredible role model who really had this goal of helping people make their lives better through his work, as we see. I mean, he's changed the lives of so many through his work and crusade and work through juice fasting and sprouting. But, also as a person, he changed people on a much smaller level, on a much smaller scale, that when he'd see them, he'd try to make them happier. In our house, we always had a kitchen that was bursting with sprouts, these beautiful, green, vibrant baby vegetables that were bursting out of our sprout bags and Fresh Life automatic sprouters sitting on our counter. We had juicers and blenders whirring every morning. From a young age, we were consuming sprouts. The sprouts made up our salads. We'd have these big bowls just full of sprouts. And then juicing, I think I was probably 5 years old or younger when I first got my hands on the juicer and helped him push carrots through and celery through when he was making a juice. In fact, my biggest memory was we were using, a horizontal mastication juicer, and we were putting some carrots through, and I'm pushing with all my strength, and I was standing on a chair next to the counter and pushing down as hard as I could, and the juicer was starting to bend, and he's saying, no, it's a slow juicer. You just have to let it go, and you let the carrot work itself through slowly. And over the years, to this day, I think I still push just a little bit too hard. But I always remember him saying, slow it down, don't push so hard. But I always liked to help him juice. That was always a fun thing that we did together.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I got to watch watch Noah grow up with our father again. Everyone has, there's 9 years between us. I'm 9 years older than Noah, so we have our own memories of our childhood. But watching Noah and my dad together and our father, it's really he's a really incredible father, really attentive, and I have these memories of the childhood memories of going out and him taking us to conventions, the celebrity, this level of celebrity, and people just loved him for who he was. It's really he's an incredible person to watch in a crowd of people because he's magnetic, and he was like that at home, and we've seen that a lot in the last months. People coming out and the stories. Everyone always starts their first memory of him is his smile, as Noah said. He really just exuded happiness and the positivity, and you can influence people. You can really impact people, and he did, and so growing up with him was really incredible. He had all these characters. He'd done vaudeville theater before he became the Sproutman, so his music and his characters just filled our house. And it was a very warm house to grow up in. Supportive.
This is Noah again. He by the way, he wrote a song for each of us when we were born that he played up into our early childhood years. I remember him playing my song on the piano. He was a great piano player. And till 5, 6, 7, or 8, I don't even remember, but he played it forever. And that was another way he just really tried to share his love through his music and just tried to make people happy. He and I used to travel around, and Ari too, to local nursing homes, and we'd go in there, and he'd play the piano, and he'd sing, and I remember I played the piano because I'm a pianist too, and I would play the piano and sing with him, and he was all about sharing his gifts with the world.
So what did he pass on to you about sprouting? Why is it so great?
So, this is Ari. Sprouting was very important. It's obviously it's a centerpiece to his to what he did in presenting and how he presented himself with the world. And we have a photo of Gabrielle, our older sister, and myself. I think I was 3 and she was 5. Just stuffing our faces with sprouts. Of course, Gabrielle's much daintier than I am, so she's eating a few strands at a time. But it became one of the advertisements for the Sprout House, the basket method that he was using. And it wasn't. It was a candid photo from our house. I have it floating around somewhere. I think it's on our fridge. But the sprouts were just these. I remember going to health food conventions with him, or these shows. As a small child, he would take us to. He'd say, "All right, if you come to Florida with me, man the table, and after the show, we can explore." So we used to, and he's here demonstrating the growers, and I'm eating the sprouts from his demos, and he says, "Stop it, we need these for the shows." And I said, "I'm eating them," and so every 5 minutes he would remind us. It's a funny thing. It wasn't really a lifestyle for us. It was just our lives, and so sprouts were always there. And it's funny now that Noah and I have to become the driving force of his message in a way, because he's not here, and so it is very much a lifestyle to most of the world. But for us, it was just it's sort of odd to have to preach something that's just second nature. That's just in your life. It's so present.
Yeah, this is Noah again. It really, what he passed on to me about sprouts, other than what became our life, as Ari was saying, is as I'd go to shows with him and I'd watch him give these lectures on sprouts, I'd hear him spout out facts about sprouts and nutritional benefits. And over the years, as I got older and started to understand it more, I really learned that sprouts were these incredible superfoods, and that these were little vegetables that you could grow all over the world, no matter what season it was, and in your kitchen with no soil. So I suddenly realized these are the most amazing things. I mean, who wouldn't want to have fresh vegetables in their house all year round if they weren't fortunate enough to live in an area that they could have a beautiful garden all throughout the year? That you could have your own food and you didn't have to go to the grocery store and be buying maybe wilted produce that's been shipped to you from thousands of miles away. And so I just really learned that sprouts were these incredible superfoods that anyone could grow, that they were so easy and so nutritionally great.
Yeah, this just to add. No, this is Ari again. He would say that sprouts are your medicine, and this concentrated nutrient density that these baby vegetables have. You can really, it's juicing as well. It became the Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine thy food," and or it might have been the reverse. But he with juice, this concentrated nutrient density, and with sprouts, he really. You're not shipping your foods. The carbon footprint on the world is less. You're growing your own food in your house. So you have a beautiful array of greenery, and it's sort of like if you can eat your plants. Everyone needs more green. So we have automatic watering sprouters that are, it's like a home fountain, but it's growing food. So you can really brighten up your life in a real way with these baby fruit and vegetables.
All right, so you guys are growing sprouts like all the time?
Yeah, mostly, except when we're on the road. And even then, we sometimes bring a sprout bag along with us. I think right now we've got a few sprout bags growing and an automatic sprouter with a barrel full. But we've got our sprouts growing every day, and we've got wheatgrass that we juice and have our fresh wheatgrass shot in the morning, 1 to 2 ounces, and that's another. Wheatgrass is another microgreen that we've recently discovered. Of course, we heard our father lecture about it all over the years, but that's not something that we drank every day. It was something that we'd try here and there when we'd have a good crop at home, and we'd juice it. But it's something that we've added in as our own lifestyle now, and we're having a shot of wheatgrass every morning and then a sprout salad for lunch.
Yeah, I started when I first left home when I was like 18. It's every teenager when they're living on their own. Sometimes you struggle to buy good food, and so growing up in this house with so much good food, I felt the difference, and so I would come home and pick up a couple sprout bags for my dad. I had at one point 3. It was the cheapest food I could have that's actually nutritious. So rather than living on a diet of ramen, I had 3 sprout bags going. Now I have about 5 going. I found because I have to feed my younger brother sometimes. So I really, that was a learning curve for me because growing up, he grew all the sprouts. He did his own seed testing, which Noah and I have taken over, and so I had to suddenly grow my own sprouts rather than having them just there all the time. And that was a really cool experience. I think I spent a couple months in Paris when I was 19, and I walked by a sprout shop, and I walked in just to ask if they'd heard of the Sproutman and say, that's my father. And then she had, and I bought some radish sprouts and sprouted them accidentally in a sponge, and so the learning curve is doing it on your own versus growing up and having it provided. It's sort of that was a good life experience. Something you can only really speak from experience, in my opinion. So.
Well, the last book Steve had, we had him on the show talking about the juice fast, the 7-day juice fast book that he had out. Have either of you experienced a juice fasting at all?
So yeah, I actually, when I was age 13.
Who's that? Noah?
This is Noah again. Yeah, sorry about that. At age 13, I started a smoothie cleanse with Steve. He was leading. He was experimenting with leading groups in our town. He led a juice fasting clinic, and then he led this smoothie fasting clinic. And he was just trying to feel out our local public. We live in a town with about 7,000 residents, and so we had, I think, about 10 or 20 people show up to the event, which was really great. to see people come out, and he actually did it just after the holidays in January. So, people coming out in the middle of our cold winter up here in the Berkshires in the Northeast. But I participated in the smoothie cleanse with him, and as many of you listeners probably know, the difference between juicing and smoothies, and that is that in a smoothie you're still drinking the fiber. Basically, you're blending, you're pureeing fruits and vegetables, and all that does for your body is skip the chewing step. Unlike juicing, you're not getting the concentration, you're not removing the fiber, you're just taking away the chewing. So the benefits to that are that you're still giving your system some of a break. It's still easier to digest. It's all raw and vegan, right, because you're just having these plant smoothies. Steve almost described it as drinking your salad dressing, and it was a pretty delicious salad dressing, I might add. So I did that smoothie cleanse at age 13, and in the later years, now, I've done some shorter variations of the 7-day Just Juice fast. I've done, I think I did a 3-day or a 2-day, and just recently I did a 1-day where I just took a break from eating. I went vegan for the days leading up to it, and then I just spent 1 day drinking juice. I wanted to give myself a break. But Ari and I together are going to be partaking in a 7-day fast starting on January 1st to kind of welcome in the new year and cleanse and revitalize. So that's my experience with juice fasting.
Yeah, we're going to. So as Noah said, we'll be doing our own juice fast with a group of friends, and we create our support group because it's not cutting food out of your diet is a rough thing. And we were recently at a show. Our friend Michael Bergonzi, who's known as the wheatgrass king, he was saying he gave a lecture, and he was spot on. I think we're so addicted to our food, and it's true. So we go through this sense of withdrawal. So we'll be doing a fast, and that'll be a lot of fun. We have everything scheduled, even the colon cleansing. So
and we've got everything we need in the knowledge that we built up from over the years, and we've got that great book that I think you got your hands on, Stephen, and that's a great resource for us.
Yeah, we'll be following it step by step and referring back to his lectures because he was the expert.
Right. And so are you guys, are you drinking a lot of juice every day?
Yeah, so this is Ari. I since the accident, have had a shot of wheatgrass every single day, and usually, and I'll add other juices to my diet. So I'm drinking it much more frequently than I was. I'll have at least one juice a day and at least 2 ounces of wheatgrass. And wheatgrass is one of those things that you don't want to have too much. It's therapeutic. It's therapeutic. You need 2 ounces is a good amount. But I've been experimenting with every method that we have. We have frozen wheatgrass that we get from our friends in Canada, Dynamic Greens, and then we have the wheatgrass that I juice myself, and getting a schedule where we've had enough trays of wheatgrass of our own to sort of deal with both Noah and I juicing every day we've been figuring that out, and I think we have it down now. And then, but yeah, we've played with powders, and so juice every day now, which is a change. I was drinking a lot of juice before, but a couple times a week. But now with this consistency, with this, it's been a pleasant experience. I've felt my body's reacted very well to it.
And as you all know, juice can be so therapeutic because it's that concentration of vitamins and nutrients. But really, if it's used consistently. If you just drink a juice one day and then you go a week or so and you eat a bunch of food and it's just your normal diet and then you throw in another juice, you can't expect to get benefits. But if you add the juice into your daily life, then you'll really start to feel a difference. And I can say Ari and I just did a bunch of traveling. We were in Toronto and New York and Boston. So finding our daily wheatgrass shot was a little trickier in these cities, but we did pretty well. I think Toronto, where we were, it was a little trickier than we had hoped. But just prior to that, when we were drinking it daily, I certainly felt a difference. It's really amazing what consistency of drinking juice will do for you. I felt energy, and I just felt cleaner inside, and that's really what wheatgrass will do for you.
Yeah, for me, for Ari, I think it balanced me and provided all the chlorophyll, the plant-based energy that I think even with all the sprout heavy diet was still missing. Right. So actually, I took a hand crank juicer and a pound of wheatgrass on the road for a weekend getaway a couple weeks ago, which was very funny. Staying with friends, walking in with a juicer and a pound of wheatgrass. But I have to bring enough to share. So.
Well, if you're new to the show or the health community, in case you didn't hear, the community lost the Sproutman just a few months ago unexpectedly in an accident. And Noah and Ari are carrying on his great work, his legacy, making the Sproutman company into the Sproutbrothers company, and it was such a shock to all of us. But we're so grateful that they're carrying on this legacy and great work. So, guys, without getting too into that part, because it's really, I know, difficult for any of us to talk about at this point. How are you guys going to transition Sproutman's company into what you're going to build into your own?
Well, it's a good question. Yeah, Noah and I we're actually really excited. This is he left us with it's incredible, unfathomable, and I don't even just avoiding that completely. He left us with this incredible legacy and this incredible following, and but in a lot of ways was sort of he'd been doing it for 30 years, and he set everything up, but he I think he would be very happy to have handed it off to us, but I don't think he would have necessarily, being as stubborn as we all are. But Noah and I we support each other in a way that he alone, I don't think necessarily had. He had this drive to take care of everyone and not be a burden to anyone, and that's a very powerful drive. But Noah and I are supporting each other. We get through if there's a tough month or we get stuck on something. We share the weight, and we bounce ideas off each other. And one of us will get bogged down with today's problems, and the other is still thinking of the big picture. So we're trying to set up this year we'd like it to be a memorial. It's sort of an overwhelmingly large project, but we want to do our own health food convention and pull together some speakers, and moving forward as we develop that, we'll reach out to people and we'll make announcements. But so we're working on that, and we're working on a couple of apps. We're working on some new sprouters. We're working on really adding our own voice. So it's pretty exciting. It's a lot of fun working with my younger brother. I really enjoy that.
Right, and I enjoy working with Ari too. This is Noah again. So as many of you probably know, our dad was someone who really revolutionized this industry, and through his work in juicing and through his books and sprouting and his inventions and the hemp sprout bag. So he really made his impact. But now it's our turn, and we're going to do that through basically everything Ari said, through Sprout Fest, through our new products, through our Sprout Kids Sprouter. That's something that we have in the works. I mean, coming right from the perspective of 3 years ago when I was really more of a kid than I am now, watching sprouts grow And growing my own food was just something that was so exciting, and something that I feel that this generation and the next generation really needs to get into, because as we know, the population of the world is just increasing so rapidly, and of course there is going to be food shortages, and there are food shortages in places, and so making sprouting available and attainable to kids is really important. So that's a project that we'll be working on, and part of our contribution to the health world.
What Noah started to say, I think, was about accessibility, and I think that's the biggest thing. And both he and I mean, our father had a real magnetism and a draw, and I think Noah and I, though, he had to start everything. He had to develop everything and try it. He did all. He lived it. So Noah and I can spread his word and spread and really make his juice, his sprouters, make it attainable to a group that it wasn't before, probably.
Wow, really exciting, guys. So definitely stay connected to us here at Juice Guru so we can get the word out of all these great visions and projects you're up to. It's really exciting.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
You're listening to Juice Guru Radio. We're here with the Sprout Brothers, Noah and Ari Meyerowitz. The website, guys, are you just keeping it Sproutman, or are you guys going to have Sproutbrothers.com?
Well, we're working on Sproutbrothers.com. You and the can rest assured we will publicly be known as the Sproutman for a very long time, because that's a name that many people know and has a great trust over the years, and we're not planning on doing anything that would disqualify any trust that has, and we really want to honor our Father through his name. So Sproutman.com.
Sproutman.com, and we'll have a link up at juicegururadio.com under the show notes for the Sprout Brothers. Thank you for being here, guys. Thanks so much for continuing your dad's amazing work, and obviously we're all in good hands as we move forward into this new year. Thank you both for carrying on the work.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us, Stephen, and we look forward to chatting with you next time.
You're listening to Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve Prusek, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Juice Guru Radio. Find out more about us at juicegururadio.com. Until next time, get your juice on.